Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my final team selection for Game Week 12. The press conferences have happened. There's been a few updates that kind of relate to my team, so we're going to be breaking all that down. But if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below. Leave a comment. What are your plans for your team for Game Week 12? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off in goal, we do have Raya, who's got Forest at home. Again, expecting a clean sheet from this fixture. Even as a Forest fan, I don't think we'll really go to the Emirates and probably get a result. I mean, obviously, we did it with Liverpool, but I don't know. I just feel like Arsenal have really got to pick up some points soon, so they're going to come out as guns blazing. The idea that Calafori's back as well really helps the defense. Obviously, Ben White is out, so there might be a Timber, potentially a Partey playing in that right back role, but at the end of the day, the defense is still going to be very good. We might nab a goal, but at the end of the day, I think Arsenal will come away with 3 points in that fixture. But obviously, I'm going to be playing Raya anyway, because my backup goalkeeper is Ward, who doesn't even play, and even if he was, he's got Chelsea at home, so obviously not going to be playing him regardless. So Raya in goal at home to Forest. Obviously, perfect situation would just be for us to win, but Raya save a penalty, but that's just not going to happen. So he's my goalkeeper. At the back, we've got Nori, Gabriel, and Mykolenko. I am definitely getting rid of Mykolenko this week, 100%. Going to be going out of my team. We'll talk about that in the transfer portion of today's video, but he's just there at the moment just because I still have him, but I will be getting rid of him 100%. Gabriel obviously makes this team. I'm playing double Arsenal defense. It's not gone well for me once at all this season. In fact, no Arsenal assets have really gone well for me this season, barring Saka when he got like that 13-point haul. But Gabriel does have that bullet header threat. They are very good on set pieces. We are notoriously bad at defending set pieces as well, especially last season. This season, we've tightened it up really well, but conceding 3 to Newcastle before the international break gives me a little bit of worry with our back line. But at the end of the day, we are still one of the best defenses in the league. So I don't think it's going to be a game full of goals. I think it is literally going to be like a 1-0 win to Arsenal. I generally think that is going to be the result. But either way, I'm going to be playing Gabriel regardless. And I've also got Nori, who's got Fulham away. I think he's very much approaching, very fast approaching a price rise. I think I brought him in for 4.6 anyway. He's 4.7 at the moment, so he will go up to 4.8, so I will actually make 0.1 on him, but I'm not going to be getting rid of him anytime soon anyway, because the fixtures that Wolves have got coming up are very nice. But yeah, I quite like the back line this week. It's not terrible, especially with me getting rid of Mykolenko this week. I do have 2 free transfers in the bank as well, so one of those are definitely going to be used on Mykolenko. But all in all, defense doesn't look too bad, and it's going to look even better when I make my transfer. So that's the back line and the goalkeeper. In midfield, we do have quite a few yellow flags, but I'm not too worried about those at all. Semenyo was flagged. He's been deemed fit today. He's been deemed ready for selection, so absolutely fine with that. I was a little bit worried about that situation, but he's absolutely fine. So he will be playing against Brighton, you'd like to think anyway, unless he gets a surprise benching, which isn't going to happen because he's been one of Bournemouth's best players this season. So I've got Semenyo, who's got Brighton at home. We've got Rodgers, who's got Palace at home as well. Again, Emery's comments before the international break were that he needed a bit of a rest. He didn't play a lot during the international break, so I'm not too worried about his minutes at all. Crystal Palace are without Eze as well. I believe that he's missing Game Week 12, so does help from, I guess, a defensive point of view for Villa, but at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing from an attacking point as well, not having Eze. But either way, Palace home is a pretty nice fixture for Rodgers. Brighton at home for Semenyo. Salah, who is my captaincy, they are out. They are without, I think they've lost Ramsdale. I think they've lost another defender as well. Southampton look very shaky anyway, but now that they've lost their first choice goalkeeper and one of their first choice defenders, it's not looking good. So I think Salah is going to run riot. The big news coming out of the Liverpool press conference, though, was that Trent is going to be out of Game Week 12 as well as Alisson. So if you do have Trent, you kind of have to make that decision, because if you're going to hold him and he is back for like City and Newcastle, they're not necessarily great fixtures from a defensive standpoint. The only reason that I was going to bring Trent in this week was because of that Southampton fixture. But now that he's confirmed to be out of Game Week 12, it's not really an asset that I'm going to be going anywhere near for the foreseeable future. Maybe I bring him in around when they play Everton and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think if you have him, you have to make that decision, because there's a lot of money tied up with him. You can always downgrade him to a Konate or a Van Dijk and then use that extra funds to maybe potentially bring in a Saka or something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not a great position to be in. So yeah, rough one for the Trent owners, because it was just an unlucky hamstring that he came off with. Obviously, they went and then got the clean sheet, and now he's out for arguably one of the best fixtures of the season. So if you do own Trent, I think you've been really done. You've been hard done by. We've also got Palmer, who is also flagged, but he's been seen in training this week, so I'm not worried about him at all. Leicester away is a fantastic fixture for Palmer, so I definitely want him. 100% a captaincy shout this week as well. I think Salah and Palmer are easily the best options. I'm just going with Salah because he's just been really, really good all season. I know that Palmer's been fantastic as well, but yeah, I'm gonna be trusting the Egyptian King this week, especially because Southampton's main choice goalkeeper and one of the best defenders is also out the team as well. And I've also got Mbumo as well. He is still yellow flagged. I didn't see anything I've not seen the press conference for Brentford. I couldn't find it, so I'm assuming he's going to be okay. Obviously, we'll have the deadline stream tomorrow anyway with any last-minute information, but yeah, I think he's going to be absolutely fine. So the midfield, I think I'm just going to keep like it is this week because Saka was one of the players that I was potentially also going to be bringing in. But the information about Saka is that he's been in partial training, so it's not really the concrete evidence that I want to be bringing him in. He's been very injury prone this season. He's injury prone anyway, in terms of he's always coming off with a knock or whatever. But yeah, he's been a couple of times this season where obviously he's missed the game, even when Mikel Arteta has been like, yeah, he's fine, but then he's went on to miss the game or something. So yeah, the partial training is enough for me not to go there. I mean, Forest have a great defensive record anyway, so I don't think it'd be a massive game from an attacking point of view for Arsenal regardless. But yeah, Saka, I'm definitely not going to go anywhere near. So I think the midfield is just going to stay the way it is this week. So Mbumo, Palmer, Salah, Semenyo, and Rodgers. And then up top, we do have Raul Jimenez, who's playing Wolves at home. And I've also got Haaland, who's playing Spurs at home. And then the bench consists of, obviously, Ward, Strand Larson, who's got Fulham away, Milenkovic, who's got Arsenal away, and then Greaves, who's got Man United at home. I'd really like some information on Greaves as well, because he should be back relatively soon. He's supposed to be back around this date. So that hamstring injury, I'd like him back. Not that I'm going to be playing him every week. It's just a nice to have like the full defenders at your disposal and not have him just be red flagged on your bench. So I'm hoping he's absolutely okay. The big news coming out of the Spurs camp though is that obviously Van de Ven's out, but also Romero is also going to miss game week 12. So that is another reason for me to just keep Haaland this week, because their two main choice centre-backs are just not in the team. So from an attacking standpoint, Haaland, you'd like to think, is going to do hopefully very well this week. Not a captaincy shout, in my opinion, just because he's not been on the greatest form. Obviously, internationally, he's gone and smashed it. But in terms of club, he hasn't really been a goal threat lately, especially when you've got Salah and Palmer that have fantastic fixtures. I think he'll come good, though. They are boosted by the return of players. The centre-backs coming back. Grealish is back. I think Kovacic is also out as well, which is quite bad. So if you are a Rico Lewis owner, you're kind of guaranteed for him to start in that kind of like CDM centre-mid role, you'd like to think. But yeah, from an attacking point, I think Haaland should hopefully go big this week. And I just hope that he kind of rewards me for keeping him as well. The Liverpool fixture is not going to be ideal, but then after that he potentially could be a hold. So I have to kind of make my decision whether I want to get rid of him and bring in Saka, or kind of just keep the faith with Haaland and see if he just starts banging in hat-tricks again, because Forest, Palace and Man United at home, well obviously Palace is away, but they're really nice fixtures and he can score against Liverpool as well. So it might be, if I've kept him now, I may as well just keep him for the nice fixtures, because after, like I say, after Liverpool and Spurs, yes, they've got Forest, Palace, United. Obviously, Villa away is tough, but then they've got Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Ipswich. It's a really nice block of fixtures. So yeah, I think we'll see what happens, but I'm more likely going to keep him now. But anyway, let's talk about transfers, because, you know, I've kind of made my mind up about, well, haven't made my mind up about who I'm bringing in, but obviously I'm going to be getting rid of Mykolenko. So there's two players that are on my radar to bring in. I think the safest bet is obviously Colwill. He's still flagged. I haven't seen much about him in the press conference. I don't know if he's fine. If he's not confirmed like absolutely fine, I don't think I'm going to go there, just because it's a little bit of a risk. Leicester away is a really nice fixture, and obviously if I bring Colwill in and he plays this week, I can play Gabriel, Colwill and Aït-Nouri. I do know that I've got Raul Jimenez playing Aït-Nouri. It's just what I've got to do. I mean, I could play Strand Larson and bench Raul Jimenez. It's just I don't really want to bench a penalty taker, and I think that Raul Jimenez will score as well. I just don't think that Strand Larson's the smart option, even though it is kind of, I guess, lowering the ceiling of points from Aït-Nouri and Raul Jimenez. You know, they could easily both get an attacking return. So yeah, Colwill obviously coming in this week would be really useful, because I can play Gabriel, Colwill, Aït-Nouri this week, And then next week, when Colwill has Villa at home, I can play Gabriel, who's got West Ham away, Aït-Nouri, who's got Bournemouth at home, and then I can also play Milenkovic, who's got Ipswich at home. And then I can get rid of it. And then I can get rid of Milenkovic after that Ipswich fixture, because that's when they've got City, United, Villa, stuff like that. So I don't really see the point of getting rid of Milenkovic this week when they've got such a good fixture the week after. So I think I'm probably only going to use one transfer this week, and it's going to be because I don't need to make a midfielder transfer now. I'm not going to get rid of Haaland this week because obviously Trent's out. Saka's in partial training. It's not really worth it. And in terms of defensive transfers, I guess I could kind of take a look at a Villa player like Konza or something like that. I don't know if Konza is flagged because I know he left England duty early. He's hang on, I keep typing. Konza, yeah, so he's still flagged as well. So he's got a hip injury, 75% chance of playing. So all these flags are not making my life any easier, but I'd like to bring in Colwill just simply because he rotates really well with Milenkovic, because then obviously he has Southampton away when I'm going to be getting rid of Milenkovic. So that's ideal. The other option that I could go with is Hall, who's obviously from Newcastle, much more of an attacking threat. He's cheaper as well at 4.4 instead of 4.5, and he has West Ham and Crystal Palace in the next two, so I would play him probably in both of those fixtures and then just bench Aït-Nouri, because obviously I'll have Semenyo playing him in game week 13. The only issue with this is obviously I wouldn't know. I'd have to like make a transfer in game week 14 because I'd have Milenkovic, who's got City away, and then I'd have Hall, who's got Liverpool at home. So that's kind of like pushing me into a transfer that week. I mean, I could play Greaves, who's got Palace at home, if he's back in the squad at that point, but I just don't really think it's worth it. And I just think that the Chelsea fixtures going forward are just so much better than like everyone else's. Like the fixture is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, there's one red fixture, you know, in the next like 10. It's insane. And I wouldn't mind a defensive player from that sort of fixture run. So I think I'm edging more towards Colwill, but if he's still flat, I mean, the only bad thing about Hall as well is he's not 100% nailed. Obviously, just had his England call up. He's played 90 since game week 6. But before that, he was very much hit and miss. Like, played 45 against Fulham, 22 against Spurs, 21 against Bournemouth, 69 against Southampton. So I think he's going to be fine. He's much more of an attacking threat than Colwill. But it's just that potential benching that could ruin me, especially over the Christmas period as well, when I'm going to need like sure starters. And I think Colwill is just a sure starter. I think Fofana's more of a risk than Colwill, honestly. So that's why I'm kind of more preferring to bring Colwill in, but obviously he is flagged at the moment, and I do have to make a defensive transfer this week because I don't want Mbeumo playing Mykolenko, and I don't want Raul Jimenez playing Aït-Nouri, because it just means two of my defenders are just probably, I mean, either they don't keep a clean sheet or my attack is blank, so not ideal. And like I said, I'll have 2 free transfers going into game week 13 as well, and I really want to always have at least 2, because if I do want to get rid of Haaland and take him down to like an Isak or a Jackson and then bring in Saka, always going to need 2 transfers to do that. So I always like having at least 2 every single week. So I don't really want to go crazy. I could make 2 defensive transfers this week. I could bring both Colwill and Hall in because I think I have the money for that. I could get rid of Milenkovic, bring in Colwill, and then also bring in Hall for Mykolenko. But like I say, Milenkovic has got Ipswich at home next week, so I think I'm absolutely fine just keeping him. So I think that's what I'm going to do, either Hall or Colwill. I'm not 100% decided yet. Closing in more on Colwill, but I think that will be my transfer this week. But yeah, the press conference has definitely changed my my standpoint 100%, because I'm completely off Saka and Trent now, and with the Spurs back line being very depleted, it looks very good for Haaland. But either way, that's going to be everything for today's video. If you enjoyed, please do drop a like down below, leave a comment, what are your plans for your game week 12 team, subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. We'll see you tomorrow in the deadline stream, but until then, have a good one and peace.